Greetings and good vibes. My name is Chaz Neal, aka the Urban Conservative, and with me, the Arm Yourself with Knowledge, Jontel Tolan, my co-host.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yeah, I'm outside, so it might be a little cloudy. You might hear some background noise with me, so I'm gonna try and keep myself as muted as possible until I get home. I'm right around the corner from my house, so don't worry about little old me. Chaz got it right now. But I do want to welcome the guests. You can go ahead and introduce.
No, you go.
And I'm trying to get back in, you guys. Can you hear me?
Well, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
I want to welcome a friend and comrade, you family now, to the platform once again. Vakelvion, thank you again for being on our show. Everyone, Vakelvion Holmes, mother of Eric Holmes, welcome back to the Leon Block.
Thank you for allowing me to come.
Always, man.
Now, I know the last time you were on, we got into Eric's story, and at that time, I know that there wasn't as much information as there is now. So I did find a clip that I wanted to play first before you started to talk, to give just a little background, and then I wanted you to tell what the facts that you know, and what is what this is about is setting the record straight, because we all know that when it comes to police brutality, that there's always a narrative, and they always want to demonize and evilize us before they attempt to get us justice, and we have to fight just to get accountability. So that's what really this is about, is setting the record straight. And like I said, I want to play this little video first, and then we will get into Miss Vale.
Why
he killed my baby?
Tonight, a mother's fight for justice continues. Eric Holmes was shot and killed outside his job by a Clayton County Police officer. This happening just 4 days before Thanksgiving.
Today, his mother met with the director of the GBI outside their headquarters in Atlanta. The agency has been investigating the deadly shooting. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn has been following this story. He's live outside the GBI headquarters tonight. And Cody, did anything come of this meeting?
Jennifer, the director, told her they all want the same thing, the truth to come out. He offered to set up a meeting next week with the district attorney and the Clayton County Police chief so they could all watch the body camera footage from the officer who killed her son.
Why did you shoot him?
And in the back?
A question Vakelvion Holmes wants the Clayton County police officer who killed her son to answer under oath.
I want him charged.
The GBI is investigating the shooting. Eric Holmes was killed outside his job along Commerce Road in Morrow on November 21st. At some point during a conversation between Holmes and the officer, Eric got into a car. At least one shot was fired, and he crashed into a ditch.
He went to work. He never came home.
It's something Vakelvion can't accept. In fact, I first met her on December 7th, the day before her son's funeral.
All I wanted was for someone to know who my child was.
We learned Eric left behind a son, a child who will never get to know his dad. This young man also left behind 3 generations of women who thought the world of him.
You know, I wouldn't have thought, because I'm 85 years old, and golly. But he took care of Granny. That was the love of my life, and I won't forget it.
I miss him so much. They're my TV buddy, and I miss him.
It was 12 days after my interview with Vakelvion, the officer who killed her son was allowed to resign before being terminated, according to his post file, which is why Vakelvion showed up at the GBI Thursday.
Apply a little pressure to them so that they can release the body camera.
She told the director she wants the officer's body cam video released.
I have no issues with you seeing the video.
One step closer to what this family is fighting for.
We're going to get justice for it.
Hello?
Yep, we're back. I'm sorry about that. We were just playing an interview right when you were at demanding the release of the body cam footage. And so I want to really start off with how everything conspired when you found out how your son was murdered by Clayton County.
Okay, and I'm trying to get back into you guys. I don't even. Okay, so I'm here just a moment. When I found out he was murdered, I got a call from someone at his job stating that he had been shot, and that's what I found out, that he was shot. I went on the scene, and when I got there, he wasn't there. And I went to the hospital, one of the local hospitals, and that's when I found out he was murdered. From that time, I knew that the narrative they had given was not correct. However, that's what I've been fighting for from day one. I knew my son didn't have an altercation with the police. And can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So I knew my son didn't have an altercation with the police.
Oh, never mind. You're good. I was gonna say mute one of those mics, but you're good.
Yeah, I got one muted because I see one is going, and then I muted the other one. So, yep, I watched that.
No, I'm on both of them. Let me how I get off of it. That's what I'm trying to.
Oh, I mean, if you want to leave both of them up, it's okay because I've got one muted, so it's just fine.
Okay, all right, because I ended up clicking on the app twice. But anyhow, so I knew it was not true. Form was the narrative or of altercation, which is what they put out originally. Because my son is me, and I just didn't see him having an altercation with the police. We were able to view the body by the camera. I didn't see it. I'll never watch him die. However, the attorneys were able to see it and determine that he should have never died. At this point, we have 7 charges that was placed against the officer. The officer walked out of court on all 7 of those charges, and that's what get me and the reason that I'm discussing the narrative.
Now, when you say the 7 charges, was he actually charged with 7 charges, or was
so based on public record, he was charged with 7 charges from which the court record has or have it. He was charged with 7 charges. However, it's up to the jury in order to indict him, and I think they had a problem with proving something. I don't, know how to state that. But yeah, it's just a jury of his peers.
So in Georgia, is it before anything of like charges can be announced, it has to go in front of the grand jury?
Yeah, so the charges, the DA come up with the charges and the prosecutor. And then the charges go in front of the grand jury to decide whether or not to do an indictment.
Okay. See now, and I know that, going back and looking at, because I know, honestly, I want to thank you because you really, for me, spotlighted how bad Georgia was, just not even just last year, just period, because your son was 105 out of 112. And how many officers in Georgia? Because I know that's something, again, you've been spotlighting, not only just for your son, but also for others. And is there a lot of eyes on police brutality? Is there, like, when it comes to the legislation, when it comes to, what police committee review boards, anything like that? Because I mean,
what did happen was we were able to meet with one of our state representatives. We went down to the Capitol, starting with Mr. Jimmy Hill, Mr. Atchison father. We were down at the Capitol. So we ended up meeting one of our state representatives, Nisha Manor. And we were able to get one of the House bill passed, which will have the DA and prosecutors will have oversight. So that was a thing that changed. They also recognize Say Their Names Day on April the 5th every year going forward. They gave us a proclamation for that. It's little steps like that that I'll take compared to looking at, I guess, years worth of things and almost no action.
Right. Okay. Now, I want to get into some of the narrative that the police put out, because they said that Eric was in a stolen vehicle. Has that?
I can't tell you what has been confirmed, has not been confirmed. What I can say to you is, and what we're all aware of is, in dealing with narratives, the first thing they do is drag us.
Right.
They pull everything from you to your mama to your daddy to everything, and they drag you with it on the news in order to make their story better. What have you heard on Eric since the initial report?
Nothing that I
and
could
that's how I'll answer that.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, I feel like every article that talks about Eric in the story, it always brings up about, you know, them finding 2 handguns and it being a stolen gun.
Let me remind people, I don't care what gun they had, I don't care what car was stolen, it does not justify or warrant anyone to lose their life. I don't care what they did, they do not deserve to die. Let's just let's get that right out there first and foremost. Because we always, no, I'm just saying, think about this for a second, because we always jump to make excuses or have to defend ourselves when it comes to that argument when we shouldn't. You know what I mean? I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. And that was a great point. Great point.
No,
that's the whole point. That needs to be pointed out before anything else. Whether, no matter who it is, regardless of what it is that's said, that's done, if I'm not trying to kill you, if I'm not a threat to you, then I deserve a chance in court. And if I'm wrong, you're going to do what you've done to everybody else and prove them wrong, but wrong does not deserve death.
Yep.
No, and let me say, I meant by my question, I meant that in no remarks of any trying to shift the blame to Eric.
Of course
not. He was talking to you. He was just talking overall.
Right. Just
I caught that.
Okay, no, because it was you know, with me, I know that the first thing that is always remembered, because I know for me, you know, what made me be inspired was George Floyd. And the first thing that came out that it was a medical emergency. That's because that's what people always remember, is they don't ever remember everything that comes out afterwards. They just always remember what comes out first. And that's the part that I guess I was trying to get at, is because they always want to demonize us right away. They always want to give, you know, reasoning of why they did what they did when there was no level of threat. There was, you know, they try to find excuses. And that, I know that's something, my wording is very bad, and I'm sorry for that. Because the point
you did it good. You brought it out right from the beginning, the same thing that everybody probably was saying, and Jontel came in perfectly before they can even think it to say it. You did it right.
Okay.
Sure did. That's what I said. I want to validate you real quick, Chaz, because that's why I feel like we work well together, is because I may speak to certain people, but there's a lot of people I can't reach that can't understand me, and vice versa. There's things that you say that people that listen to me may not understand, but we also are 2 parts to a whole. You know what I'm saying? But you said that perfectly. It's not always about what's being said. It's the sentiment that's behind it. And we understand you, bro.
Yep. All the way.
No, because that's like for me, that's one of the reasons like that I really honestly wanted to have you on, is because there isn't enough out there about Eric. It's more of, I want to know. I want to know. And what we want the people to know is who really was Eric, beyond what the narrative that is out there, because this is your son. You know what I'm saying? So you were the one that raised him. You're the one that, if he was crying, you're the one that wiped the tears off his face. You know, you're the one that seen him. And so I want to know of the Eric that you raised.
I raised a 19-year-old, smart, determined, hardworking young man. I tell people in a minute, My son put a lot of grown men out of business. When it came down to his responsibility and his respect for himself as an individual, he also showed that same respect in his death. Very respectful, very mannerable. Like I said, if anybody can prove me different, show it. But for 19 years, he was a father of a 3-year-old son who's now 4. And he was a full custodial father, okay, through the court. And not because it was pushed on him, but because he did it in order to make sure that his child's mother was able to graduate, and she did. He started working at 16 years old. I begged him to go to school here. Just go to school. I'll be taking care of you and the baby. I know you had them young. I'm gonna help you go to school. He said, Mama, he said, I'm learning to work on cars now. He said, and I ain't trying to go to college. He said, I can go to a little trade school or something. He said, I'm gonna get my GED, but I'm gonna let her graduate first. He got his baby and she graduated just this last May. That was Eric. Like, he was just him, bubbly, lovable. Or give you the shirt off his back. Took care of people, elder people. You can call him out. At his funeral, you had old, young, every race. Like, it's just who he was. He was a people's person. And he did the same thing with that outside there on the day that he was murdered. And that's what I fight against.
What were some of the things, like favorite holidays for Eric?
The one that just passed, 4th of July.
4th of July.
Christmas. But he was so simple. Let me tell you, he was simple.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? He was like his mama. You know, it was simple but loving and headstrong, and just do what you gotta do. You get what I'm saying? Don't put too much praise into that type of stuff too serious. But 4th of July, Christmas, and I hate 4th of July now, not use word hate, because we understand that we're celebrating some stuff that wasn't even for us. Even for Christmas, they go out here and buy all these toys and everything in one day, and for what? Just to make another man rich on a day. You get what I'm saying? That's when his stocks rise. So my thing is, my baby, he was smart, and he began to learn early. And I taught him, like I said, he had a baby. I had no choice. I had to get him ready for the world.
Right.
And when he decided he didn't want to go to school, my baby was ready. He worked full his record. Never had a work break. Minus a couple months. If I'm, hey, Eric, and it may be 5 months out of the whole time, or half of a year, if that. From the time he was 16 years old until that man killed him out there. He killed him at work. And he killed a good person. Like my baby, he me. That was my me. I don't condone any children, you know. I ain't gonna tell you what he did. I never said that. I never said, no, Eric didn't do that. I said, if my child did that on that day, you prove it.
Right.
You show me who did that. You tell the world who did that. I ain't gonna sit up here and tell you what he did or what he didn't do. Parents quick to say that. You can't say that.
Right.
I can't tell you that. I can tell you who he is. I can tell you who I raised. I can tell you his character. I can tell you some of the things he ain't gonna do. I can tell you he didn't assault that officer. And the camera can tell you the same thing in a witness.
Right.
I can tell you he ain't got no background. He ain't never been in no trouble. And if you pull a background on him, you gonna pull what his mama did. Because when my child hit of age to get out the park, and I realized, you know, he was climbing out windows, smelling little girls, and, you know, I took him to the county myself.
Okay.
Because I said, before anybody give my child a charge, I'm going to make sure I do. That way you'll understand consequences.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about, Mama. Hell
So if they pull anything on him, they going to pull from his mama.
You absolutely raised him right, and I wish that I had the chance to know him while he was here. However, it's nice that we're being able to hear this from you, and this is the kind of stuff that people need to hear. Not about the narrative that the media, the mainstream media portrays, but the real and true one by people that knew him.
Yeah, and then if you go to their narrative, there was a gun in the car. Okay, well, if you say the car ain't here, I would know the gun here.
Right.
He was at work, and he drove the stolen car to work. He ain't drive it nowhere to rob nobody, kill nobody, do that. He went to work. He drove the stolen car to work. You still got his keys in his car parked at the top of my driveway that's registered to him. And that his car insurance is paid on prior to his death. He has a flat tire. It's still there. You killed my baby over a car and he owned a car. He's had two. Bought him on his own through his job that he worked. Like, I mean, you found him at work. You say you got guns in the car in a gun law state. So that means you're going to shoot us because you allowed for guns to be in the car. Can't prove that the guns are his, and we're going to die because it's a gun in the car that we no threat based on the news reports and media report they released. Didn't grab. Oh, you get to shoot him because a gun in the car. It's a gun law state. We all going to die. You were killing us before the law. You just made an excuse to validate it.
Talk about it.
Right.
So it's all good though. You know, my son had to go, and it hurt because one thing about looting, you gotta go. So I tell people, I don't care who the child is or what. These same people with these narratives, I be going back and forth with them on the news channel. Say got narratives to say, let me tell you something. My son is gone, but don't forget you're gonna have an obituary too.
Right.
Only thing you gotta do is keep on living. He already gone. But the way that he left here is to fight. Had sickness or anything else took my son, I can't fight a disease. The only thing I can do is pray and say he met his time and try to do whatever I can do. Had little Bobo killed him on the street, you would have him on American Most Wanted. You would have went and picked him up at his auntie house, girlfriend house, or whoever else to get him off the street, collect their funds for him being in your system. He get life in prison. But because it's a cop, he's just like the rest of them. You got thousands of us that are dead, and you can't count on your finger how many in jail on both hands. If you can, tell me.
I can't even count more than one hand. Let's keep it at that. So,
and let's just be honest. The ones you can count on the hand, don't look at the fact that they're in jail. Look at their charges.
Right.
That's what I've been seeing coming in here. Look at their charges.
Also,
you got somebody in jail right now, and I ain't gonna speak no name. People think that man in jail for a murder. He in jail for something else he did. It ain't had nothing to do with that murder.
Right.
You gotta look at it. I didn't look at stuff like that. I shared. But anything that come in, I'm looking.
Right, and that's the part that frustrates me because it's such a fight to charge officers when they're dead ass in the wrong, and it's a system that protects them because of a couple of simple things of qualified immunity, and things that are included in qualified immunity.
Okay, let me give you qualified immunity. My thoughts on that.
I'm glad because I was about to ask too.
Yeah, let me give you my thoughts on that. Qualified immunity, right? They say it has something with them not receiving the death penalty or whatever. But it also qualifies them for everything else that it does not qualify us for. It qualifies for them to be on the street. It qualifies for them to get paid for their job after they killed us until they decide to fire them. It qualifies for them, their names and stuff to be held back and for them not to reveal them and push them out on the media, how they do everything else. So they get so many different types of immunity already as it is. So qualified immunity, back in the days when you were making all officers be qualified, I'll accept that. Right. I'll accept that because they come out here to put their life on the line, supposedly to save others. Right? So to a certain degree, depending on how the situation may go or what they walk into, you may say, God damn, don't kill the man. Don't kill the woman. You get what I'm saying? Let them live or let them at least try to fight their case to figure out why, because this may be difficult, right? And they went in to save us, man. I'm going to have to call the police right now if something happened and they killed my son. So their jobs are very valuable. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
And their lives, they are putting on the line too. Don't get that twisted. But right now, You got anybody coming on the force. You talking about qualified immunity, and your officer's not even qualified.
Mm. You make a very
that right there. Yes.
Man.
Yes. Got qualified immunity. Half these officers ain't even qualified. I know that's
half your officers ain't even qualified.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So back in the day, maybe when things might have been a little bit okay, and you know who was coming out on the street killing, and you can kind of okay. Now you got all these officers out here. Your police force now part of your welfare program in most states.
Right.
They can get out. They can go for police training for them little few weeks, and now they out here. Somebody they gonna save our lives, and you got the average Joe Blow out here with me.
Mm-hmm.
And this person's supposed to save my life. They just went and got a job. This is a job now.
Yep.
It's no longer a passion.
It's not a duty. It's a job.
It's not a duty to serve.
Right.
It's none of that. This is a job. Everybody can go be the police. That's a problem.
Right.
Qualified immunity for unqualified people. So these unqualified people just using up qualified immunity. Like, damn, we hear that word more than ever. All we heard was somebody died and Black Lives Matter or whatever lives matter.
Mm-hmm.
Now because everybody doing it, qualified immunity, you hearing that like a mug.
I love the way that you broke that down.
Right.
Because you put it into such, because that's not something, I've been in this fight for 3 years, and that's not something that I've ever heard anybody ever break down qualified immunity, because you summed it all up into one word, and not even one word, but broke it down into how it doesn't mean anything. And I love that, because nobody is really out here educating on how to beat the system.
Right.
Nobody is really out here educating to beat the system. Because
we learn. And the thing is, we can't be educated on beating the system because they ain't gonna teach you what you need to beat them. You got to go find it. They ain't even put that in the book. They separated it. It ain't in one off.
That, and you know what? That's another good point too, because I know for me, look back at a lot of 60s and the 50s type of Malcolm Martin, and I see the same things that they were going through. To this day, only 10 times even worse, because technology's worse. You have social media, you got bigger mainstream media, and I just feel like there's still, we can reach the masses quicker, but it's still still don't do nothing.
Or you can indoctrinate the masses quicker.
Right.
It's a double-edged sword.
And it's given now, and y'all doing what y'all doing, and people are starting to speak. You can count on your hands who spoke, and that's for your lifetime. And you got more people starting to speak in these last few years than you had speak for your lifetime.
That's true. That is wow.
The people that you been saying about to speak, so it's definitely changing.
The way you put that. You're right. Think about it. I'm 34. In my 34 years of life, I've seen more action in the past 3 years than I've seen my whole life. Towards what we're
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm. When you put it in that perspective, that was very optimistic, and I needed to hear that. Thank you, Vakelvion. I really have not thought about it like that, but you're right.
You got more fighters, You also got more wicked, you get what I'm saying? But you do got more fighters. And the thing is, everybody just keep fighting, I guess. And it's definitely more problems because the thing is, they hear about it back then, people weren't accounted for. Now you can account for somebody because of social media or something. So if they get missing, you can't dump them on the side road no more.
Right. Yep.
Times are definitely worse than what it is. What they do is they only show us so many of it. And those few that they show us is what we get stuck in our head.
Yeah.
So we limited numbers based on that. Oh, it's just 15 of them. No, it's thousands. It's 15 that they showed you.
Talk about it. And because I'm telling you, they're like Chaz said, in the Midwest, people didn't know about Georgia like that. Up here, up north and northeast, I know about Georgia like that. You know, like I have someone that told me, oh yeah, they killing niggas down in Georgia all the time, especially in the ATL. But that was one person that told me it was more like gossip. I didn't go on and research myself to see. I got wind of it from you. And then I started looking into stuff and I'm like, oh my God, this is everywhere. Me and Chaz was just talking about Arkansas earlier. And then we got out west with Lisa. And I was just opened up to that because I didn't know it was that bad out there. It's all over. We all on the same playing field here. Unfortunately, it's a game to these people. So that's why I say, right.
You know, I looked at statistics from the 60s and police involved killings, you know, things like we got to deal with now was 1 every 10 days. Now it's 3 a day.
That's what you hear about.
Right. Thank you. And that's the exact point that I wanted to make because, you know, because what we know of, because they definitely don't tell us everything, you know. It's
104 bodies before my baby.
Right.
You can't even get one of those people and tell you where I heard them at. And that's what I go to say too. The people are the problem.
Right.
Ain't no in the hell you let people kill your children and your loved ones and we continue to be silent.
Right.
The families are the part of this brutality, and we have to remember that. Because there's no one else's responsibility to love our loved one or to make sure our loved one death is accountable for like ours.
Right.
And if we leave these killers out on the street, just like they killed our loved ones, guess what? They just go kill somebody else. He's already a murderer.
You got a good point there.
Right.
You stop them now, or else they're going to continue to kill somebody else's baby.
Yeah. That's what you got. You know, it ain't nobody else going to fight with your family like that. They can't because they don't have that love for them. They can say something. They can stream their name. But as a family, you got to fight for them.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I definitely couldn't either. I mean, and I've seen, you know, just being from Minnesota, and seeing the way the court system is, you know, the way that superior officers are, you know, practices and patterns. Is that something that, like, have you and other families reached out to, let's say, the DOJ?
Have we reached out to who? I'm sorry.
No, have you and, let's say, like, other families started a coalition, or maybe just you yourself have reached out to the Department of Justice?
Yeah, we get 100.
Okay.
Drink it. You need it. Hold on 1 second. I gotta get my drink. Come on. Drink this. But we've been reaching out, and you got families been fighting, and you need this for allergy, for itching. It helps. Stop. Okay. He has allergies. I'm trying to make sure I messed around and put it in the wrong thing.
Do you mind if, Vakelvion, do you mind if I ask you a more intimate question?
Go ahead.
With your grandkid, do you see that as something positive that you can still like that's Eric's offspring and like there's still a piece of him here?
Like you know what I'm saying? That's why I ain't mad, you know, when it's from you know, I'm not mad when I was hurt because my son was young when he had his baby, right? So my baby having a baby. But had my baby not had his baby, I wouldn't have my baby.
Right. Thank you for I was trying to ask in a certain way, but you kind of just Wow.
He left me him. And one thing about it, I say God. Some people say what they want to say. I say God. But God don't make no sense.
That's right.
Amen.
Even if we don't understand it, it's not for us to question anyway. Right.
Some things we can't avoid, and that is one. It hurts so bad. We can avoid it by who it happened by, though. That's one thing we can do, because he shouldn't have never did it. And if we make them accountable, We to avoid what we can't avoid. We can't avoid each other. We can avoid the supposed to. We can't. We can avoid the people that's supposed to take us over. And we gotta do that. And speaking of families, it's hard for families to get together. That's what I'm saying. Because people group themselves. But you know what? I thought that was a problem at first too, right? And I said, everybody gotta get together. Everybody can't get together. Everybody ain't on the same mission. And everybody can't be on the same mission because everybody ain't the same.
Right.
So everybody may have to go whatever way they go. You figure it out this way, I figure it out this way. And then we unite us on at the end. When everybody figure out what justice is, because at this point, everybody been going in the same direction, and it's not working.
Everybody playing Marco Polo.
Right.
Man, they can't follow the leader. And the best leader they feel like they get, they follow. And I go back to God on that. Like I said, everybody say what they want to say. I just say God, so I can't tell you about me. So I go back to say, God fight these battles. And I ain't got to team up with nobody. Sometimes you got to get your own mind together.
Right.
You know, because I was stuck. I was trying to do this and do that. Why? Because it's a fight. But when I look at the entire fight, that's too big for me. That's too big for me. Ain't no way I'm supposed to have that much stress. That much stress on me. As a mother, as a parent. Some of us, that's why we can't fight for justice, because we get too caught up in everybody else's problem. And still ain't got no solution.
What would you, well, I mean, you have the platform and the opportunity right now. What would you like to say to viewers as far as encouragement of how they can jump in this fight and help impacted families, or what they can do to let impacted families know that, like, we're still here and what can we do?
You can make it matter to you without it happening to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you can do. Make it matter to you without it happening to you. Understand that this is going on. And if you don't make it matter to you, and whatever your way is to make it matter, you're going to be in trouble too. Because this thing ain't got no objections. And now it's me and women and children. My baby went to work, died at work. Can't say he was on that he did nothing else. And even if he did, he still deserved death. He deserved court.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I can't make it matter to you, man. I can't nobody ask you for nothing. Y'all can't give us our babies back.
No.
Holy, I think we lost her.
Yeah, she'll likely jump back on.
Right back on. Wow, man. Coming into this, I had so many questions, and it's like most of the questions I had, she's already answered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and then she's throwing in the education parts of it. And it's because it's always, I'll tell you right now, man, like this last couple weeks of talking with impacted families and just learning the different situations and the different stories, it's making me want to go so much harder, because I can't even find, like, honestly, I didn't know I would be able to feel like this, because it's like I don't even have, it's hard for me to find words, like, because my emotions are all over the place.
Aww.
No, like, I really mean that, man, because it's coming on and hearing these stories, and then you read the articles, and I think that's why, honestly, I felt bad when not like you cut me off or anything, but I felt bad because I felt like I said something wrong.
No, bro.
You just I've never
you
felt
hit,
like
nah, bro. You hit a chord, and I saw the opportunity to point out why are we always making excuses? Why are we always jumping to justify a person's, oh, they were a good kid. Well,
Right.
what if they were acting up? What if they happen to be autistic on the autism spectrum, and that explained maybe why they did have irrational outbursts? But even if they
Right.
weren't, and they just happened to have an irrational outburst, that's okay because we are human. But remember, what Lisa pointed out, 3/5 of a human we are. So
Right.
as soon as they see us, we're automatically less than. It doesn't matter how we operate or conduct ourselves. We could be LL Cool J. We could be what's that Neil deGrasse Tyson. We could be
Right.
the most conscientious and scholarly of a person. It does not matter to them if they
And
don't know
they'll
who we
still
are. They don't
kill
know
us.
who we are.
Right.
When the
Exactly.
facts are released based on what they told us on the news, right? What was able to be repeated. When the facts are released and you hear somebody respect somebody and die from it,
You know,
unknowingly, minutes of it,
that's
minutes of it,
that's the one
minutes of it. Ooh.
that's the one thing that bothers me because we literally have innocent men and women behind bars, and innocency isn't even enough to overturn a conviction. And then we look at it, we don't even have to be doing anything on the streets, just walking down the street and they can kill us, and that's okay.
Because think about when they had convict leasing and debt peonage, like after slavery, right? So when enslaved people were quote unquote freed, they still needed a workforce. So they found any old way they could to lock us up. If we didn't have a job, they lock us up for vagrancy.
Right.
So they found anything they could to lock us up. That I don't think much has changed in that sense, has it?
Yeah, we going to jail. Anybody going to jail now?
Yeah.
You going to
Right.
jail.
We have the most criminal, the quote unquote criminals in the world, and that's for a reason. It's our prime rib. It's how we keep part of our economy going. Hospitals and the healthcare system, and the way that people get all these different diseases, and they just give you medicine and just prolong your life just a bit. It's all part of the grand scheme, and we're just one cog in the machine.
Yep. We the people of the United States.
Now that right there.
The part that makes us part of it. We the people.
Right.
We are the people, and united we can become one organism.
We're their dependent.
Right.
They count us. That's why they need to know how many of us it is, so they know how much they're getting paid.
And I know
part.
that
Social security cards.
Talk about, you have a book, and I wanted to talk about your book, Changing the Narrative. I want to know what inspired that. And if you don't want to get into too much of that, that's
You want to what? I'm sorry. What was that?
no, just to your book, Changing the Narrative. I wanted to.
Okay. Changing the narrative, it was something that I done kind of to say last minute. Well, I had already started working on Eric narrative. I've been talking about his narrative forever since day one. That's what I started, just for him to at least change the narrative and tell the world the truth. So that's what my fight was from day one. So the book, the narrative, came based off of that. On July the 4th, like I said, you talk about holidays. If it was a holiday or anything, it's like July 4th, get your red, white, and blue right. Kept my kids decked out in the red, white, and blue, and it's happy. We're gonna do some fireworks. We're gonna go somewhere. It's family outing time. Amongst everybody, you about to see everybody. Or you finna take your baby out here now when he became a father. You gonna let him go see these fireworks. Or you need to make sure you got his outfit, because on this day, this is what you're gonna do, for him. And he did it and was excited about it. So with that being said, on that day, what made me release it, I released it before, and I did add, I think it was 5 other people in the book that was Georgia residents. It wasn't like I said, okay, I'm gonna pick this person, I'm gonna pick that person. It's like I just did all that time. We finished. Meg and I have connected with her, stood from the beginning at first. So that was something. I just wanted to release it on that day because you guys are celebrating freedom and out here shooting fireworks and fireworks that they put in our kids and our families, and they don't want us to free. So July Day, I wouldn't celebrate, and I won't celebrate going forward. Now realizing this, what are we doing this for? You killed our loved ones, you still make it for us. They cause by even killing ours.
Damn. Well, while we're at it, go check out and buy and support Vakelvion Holmes. Go get her new book, Changing the Narrative, Setting the Narrative, right? I don't have the link.
Changing the Narrative.
Let's get the link posted here.
Do you have it or?
I don't. I'm about to.
I have it.
I had to restart my laptop, so like I'm literally getting back into everything right now. Here we go. There we go.
She's back.
Yeah, Matt's gonna post it to the comments.
Is he? Okay. Thank you, Matt. Always handy.
Love you, bro.
Right. That's what friends are for. In good time.
I hurt.
Okay.
You didn't listen when I tried to give you the message.
All right. Can I ask a question? Could you tell that you were gone or no? That you had dropped off?
I can tell as soon as it happens.
Okay. Because it's crazy because this is the second time it's done that this week. I had an interview with Robert Davis and it did the same thing. And I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I could tell as soon as it dropped.
Right. No, because I was like, I wonder if they can tell because I think he was actually still talking.
Yeah, for a second I was, and then it did.
I have a question for you. How do you see a book voicing and setting a tone for things differently than social media and the way that you're trying to get awareness that way?
Let me say, first of all, I can't say a book, because you can write anything, and it's many books, I'm sure. You get what I'm saying? It's many books, so I can't say a book. But my thing is, facts can set a tone. It's not about a story. That's the problem. They giving stories, they giving narratives. We gotta give facts.
Okay.
And that's why you see if I speak on nothing but facts, because facts is the truth and the only thing they can't come back on. Right. And the same facts that I've been speaking when they say whatever, the same ones I ask questions to, though ain't been answered. So we know it's a fact. It's a fact on it. We got justice. Who got justice? It's a fact. Because they can't show you, right? It's a fact on it. The police is held accountable where they at. It's a fact. It's a fact on. You get what I'm saying? Everything it is, it's a fact. And if it ain't a fact, tell my fact, because I don't know everything. It's all I know. What it is. If it's something wrong, you get what I'm saying? Just say it. But if you ask me, it's a fact when you're looking around and you see it. It's a fact on why are these civil rights. We got all these civil rights attorneys and we ain't got no civil rights won yet.
Right.
It's a fact. I see it because everybody else done showed me. Y'all taking y'all facts and showing me what it is.
Right.
So
but in the book, if you put out a book, whoever put out a book, if you put out facts, stop giving stories, man. This shit ain't no joke. Put out facts, start putting out facts, start putting out stuff that matters. Anything else that ain't of justice, it does not matter at this point. And I beg and I talk on it. I've been talking now almost an hour on it. Why? Because my son died. And I'll say it over and over again. My son died because somebody stopped. And now that I get in this game and I see all this stuff going on, I said, damn, no wonder we dying out here. Y'all a motherfucking joke. Y'all for playing. I see why my baby died. How is it 104 people killed? And see, I'll even narrow it down even more, right? Because we all know that it's just the truth of the matter. And I'm seeing people jump on this too. Everybody that died from the police brutality. You can't holler police brutality in every situation because they're not going to take us fucking serious.
Right.
They're not. You got to stick on situations that did it so. They didn't deserve to die. He had a gun in his hand. He didn't deserve to die. But shooting at him, aiming it at you. If he ran, you don't chase that boy down and kill him. If they ain't no threat to you, you don't kill him. But in certain situations, are you asking for the police to die too? And see, that's my problem because I don't take sides on this. I say if you right, you right, and if you wrong, you wrong. And had you given me a reason to say my son was wrong, I wouldn't sit up here and be fine. Because in some cases, we got to accept what are we saying police brutality to.
Mm.
In that case, get out here and screaming for everybody to get killed by everybody. In that case, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. If you want to call names to call them. But you guys are not making focus points on issues that you need to. And until somebody sit down and focus on some issues, you're going to keep jumping like chickens with your head cut off. You can't chase all these deaths. What you can do is chase facts and resolutions. You're going to have to stick with something. You got to beat something first before you continue to move on. You 1 minute, they justice for the justice. You can say everybody's name, but what are you going to work on? If you're an activist or if you whatever, or if you're a parent, what are you going to work on? What are you going to be able to say, this is what we have done? Right now, everybody just moving. We going to marches and all the marches down here, ain't won shit. Ain't won nothing.
For 50, 60, 70 years at this point. And I'm not saying that, we can't march a little longer, but there's other things that we should be doing. And me personally, y'all already know how I feel. Education.
Educate yourself.
People. Yes. And what this other thing I say is history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. So when we get that rhyme down and we get that rhythm down, we're learning something along the way. And that's education. But what you say, Chaz? When you know better,
you do better.
You do better.
And
I think that's a starting point.
Because people say that a lot of generalized statements, and I know you weren't speaking at me, but you were speaking at everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they said if the shoe fits, wear it.
Mm-hmm.
There were some statements that you said, Val, that I'm definitely going to wear, and I want to say that I definitely hear, and I'm.
Give me one, Chaz. Give me one of the statements you said, just so I can make sure you hear it right, because I understand sometimes stuff can come off, and I just want to make sure I made it understood.
Of like with the infighting, of focus on one thing, of stop being out here trying to jump on the next thing before you even got through with one thing. And maybe that's not the way you put it, but that's the way.
That's exactly the way I put it. So that's the way I put it. And the reason that I put it that way is because you're seeing a lot of activity and no completions. That's just like, you will never know a story if you don't read the entire book, and you can't read the entire book while you're picking up 20 more.
Thank you.
So you got to complete something in order to show some action, because that's the first part of activists, right? For those that are in this field, you got to complete something. You can't just bounce on everything, and you can't accept everything. It's some stuff you can't act behind. That's why they're taking a lot of these activists like jokes. You streaming justice for shit you don't even know about.
Right. Right.
That's why I respect the ones that be careful with what they take. You can't deal with everybody. You can't even deal with every mother. It's sad but true. You can't. Some of these folk gonna cause some stuff to come your way that you don't need.
Right.
Right.
That's the
And it just is what it is. Especially one that on the bull junking on the mess. Now you stand out and talk like Lisa Lee. That's why I have to mention I love her. And I love her because she bold. You know, and I met her before I even met Georgia residents. And she came to me on Facebook, you know, and showed her love. And you know, was very informative. You see what I'm saying? One thing about it, she'll teach you. And she don't mind talking. And just like me, if I get some information, I'm here to tell you. And I'm here to tell you why, because I see evidently somebody ain't told me. Y'all holding stuff. Y'all sitting up here holding lawyers like they God or something. You folk worshiping these attorneys and everything else, holding on to like you scared to let them go. They ain't got your hand no justice. Sham. Somebody else can use them for the same benefit maybe that you use them for. Maybe. So sham. But people don't want to share shit, man. They want to be quiet. Folk don't say half of the time don't even want to share their own stuff. Like, silence is gonna kill us.
Right.
If you continue to be silent, you continue to chase what everybody else chase. You got to sit still and get what comes to you. You ain't got to chase nothing. It's gonna come to you if it meant for you. Only thing you should be chasing is justice, not people.
Mm. Wow.
Not people.
You put wow.
That's powerful right there.
Right. I'm
like spitting gems.
I'm just only saying what I've seen. And I ain't gonna be able to have to cut it shortly because I gotta get my grandbaby together. And,
I was just about to say I don't want to. I want to leave it right where you left off. And just leave it like that because that was powerful. Yeah. And of course we don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just want to leave you with some blessings and good vibes, Mama. Like we have so much love and respect, and admiration for you, honestly, because I'm sure a lot of people tell you you've got to be strong, but I also want to remind you that you're human, and you could be however you feel at that moment, and that there are people that are there and that care about you in return, and we will continue to be spreading your story as always. Eric Holmes, in a situation that led to him no longer being here. So I just wanted to send you my blessings and tell you we love you. And Chaz, I'm sure you have some things you want to leave off and say.
I love y'all too. And I thank y'all, for being honest. And I thank you guys for your platform. I told you from the beginning, Jontel, what I noticed about you was from the beginning, you didn't come with many people, but you came willing.
Right.
You came willing to hear and to listen at a point when nobody else hearing because it wasn't big enough or on their level. So you just keep doing what you're doing, because when you meet people from the beginning, those are bonds that are set. See, a lot of people don't meet you until you hit a certain standard or until they're able to get a lights, camera, action with you. You see what I'm saying? But you meet people on a whole nother level. You on the internet. You ain't even out there lights, camera, action. You trying to get the story out.
Right.
So y'all thing is you get what I'm saying? You see now, Chad, I see you do what you do, Formal is being out there and everybody got their own part. But Jontel with that platform, that's why you did what you did, because your thing was to get the word out, not to get you out.
Nope.
So when you do certain things, you got to realize what it is your intent. That's why I always tell you anytime, even if I see you and something, I say, hold on, that ain't you. Maybe somebody else route. You get what I'm saying? Because everybody got their own destination, but that's not you because of what your original intent was. The same thing on me for that book. You get what I'm saying? I ain't no taker, I'm a giver.
Right.
Now I'm learning, you get what I'm saying, that you can't give to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can't. You got to hold back. You get what I'm saying? Because you've been ungay to everybody and they ain't gonna do nothing but take for you. And that's another problem in this system why we don't have justice, because these parents are waiting, some of them, for things to be given to them. Can't nobody give you nothing for your baby. You gotta go get it, man. It's causing a lot of problems and confusion because you allowing other people to come out here and get something for you. Now they feel like they own you, or now you got all these bosses in this league. How the fuck we got a boss and the police ain't even got a boss?
Mm.
But it's a boss of a movement. Like it's crazy, man. So I just say that, Jontel, to say keep your original purpose it was that you had, man. Keep that voice, because that was something, and that was something to share. You get what I'm saying? And the same thing, Chad. Keep going, man. You know, keep doing that, because everybody ain't share. Some people can't share unless they got numbers.
Right.
Right. We'll be sharing this whether it's nobody watching or not.
Man, y'all share, and guess what? The way that you share it, is gonna magnify itself.
Right.
See, people don't realize that. You get what I'm saying? Numbers can come any kind of way, but what comes behind the numbers is something. You can give me a little bit of numbers. I ain't had no big protest rally just to say for Eric. I might have tried, but when that scene went real, I ain't worried about it anyway, right? So my thing is, numbers don't get Jesse. You do.
Right.
Being continuous do. That's the only thing gonna get Jesse. That's why I ain't gonna stop it. He got to get sentenced. You know, I don't want to hear no charges. When he get locked up in jail and he's no longer on the street free, I'll be okay, because what I realize is they giving you charges now. They giving you charges and indictments. Right. So stop saying charge them, because they giving you that now. You getting charges and you getting indictments. But guess what you ain't getting? Them in jail.
Right.
And as soon as they get the charges and indictments, everybody shut up. We don't need to start showing up at some of these police officers' house. Across the street, y'all go everywhere. Everywhere else you ain't supposed to be, you go.
Mm-hmm.
Go across the street. Show them folk we ain't playing. Show them the next person kill us up out here. They gonna need protected custody for everybody. And it ain't because we trying to kill them. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. It's because we trying to let them know that you are a killer, and you should remember that. So good night, baby. Go to sleep. But I'm outside your house across the street. You talk about all these people and all these activists. They want to beef against each other. Beef up at the police house. Everybody beat up. Because we mad at each other. We got to get mad at police. We got to get mad at the mayor. We got to show them that we're going to make them spend money outside of trying to give something to somebody. Because they ain't giving them but to the children. People don't even realize it. You see what I'm saying? So, and the children got to wait till they grown to damn get it. Ain't no justice in this system, man. And we all got to stick on that, and I'm going to let y'all go.
Be blessed, Mama.
Yes, be
all right, you too.
Love
all
you.
right, y'all. I love you too. All right.
Wow.
You know that I've never, I can't even say never, because it's only been 3 years of me even of doing this, but I've never been so, you know, I'm the type of person that I never took anything personal when people were speaking in general and generalizing it. And I had to say, man, I had to wear a lot of them shoes today. Damn. Yeah, that's why I couldn't really ask no questions, because it really threw me off. And then it's like, damn, what am I really out here fighting for? Because it's not for me. It's for Lisa. It's for Kimberly. It's for Val. Mm-hmm. It's for, Katie Wright. It's for, these babies out here, Anaya, LaDavion, Trinity, Terrell Mays, Adam Toledo, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin.
Adam Toledo. Oh my God. That's still, I can't even try and think about it, because when I do, it like sends a dagger through my fucking chest every time. I went to that site, and it's, anyway, for me, when George Floyd was murdered, right? It wasn't individual people. Yes, it was individual people, but I looked at the bigger picture, and it's like, what has been done to our people? I want to start reversing this. So that's where like my stake in this is, as far as like my what I'm chipping away at versus what you're chipping away at. Do you know what I mean? But we're ultimately doing the same thing.
Right.
And so what Vakelvion said spoke to me as far as like getting back to like at the core. That's what the information in this platform speaks to. Like, yes, I'm an activist. I can go give speeches. I can lead marches. I can start a march. I know I've done all of that.
Right.
I have no problem doing that. I take to the motherfucking streets. I will run to danger. No problem. You know, that is the epitome of a journalist.
Right.
And that's me. However, when it comes down to it, what I'm about is getting the story out, amplifying people's stories, getting to the scene of a crime and showing what other journalists won't show because they just want to get a quick clip of something and then leave.
Right.
No, I'm going to stay there and interview them till they're tired of talking. You know what I mean? So people see the humanity. For me, that's what it is. But we also lived two different lives, and I'm grateful as fuck for that, you know, because we have two completely different experiences to share knowledge with one another, and then in return spew that out to the world.
You know, there's one thing that I want to speak on before we get off here that Val said, and it is that we're so quick to jump onto the next thing. Before we even accomplish one, we don't even get to you know what I'm saying?
Did that hit a chord with you?
Hell yeah, it did, dog. I ain't even gonna lie, bro. It hit. It hit. Because I feel that, and I'm gonna tell you why I feel that. Why, right? When it comes to the legislation, because I've been a part of legislation, and I feel like, you know, I was a part, especially in Red Wing, Minnesota, I was a part of, you know, authoring a resolution proclaiming racism a public health crisis. And I left it in those people's hands when they passed it, right? Because I felt like I gave them the footwork. I gave them the footwork. You know, they got this plan. And then they have this, they dressed it up and called it, you know, we called it the Strategic Racial Equity Action Plan. Gave it a beautiful name. But the problem is, because it was there, I felt like it was good enough. I didn't keep on with it. The same thing with the rental licensing program. You know, it was okay. It passed, but I didn't make sure that it was fulfilled. I didn't make sure that it was followed through on. And I feel like that's the same thing when it comes to legislation, because we get that little, oh, hey, we did something. Hey, I got a resolution unanimously passed. I got an ordinance unanimously passed. But what is it doing?
Let me tell you something, though. Don't be so hard on yourself, because we live in a society of instant gratification, and social media has changed things to the point where the internet, period, has changed things to the point where things are moving so fast and there's so much news happening every single time and moment. You can't stop. And so when we get this done, there's so much other stuff out there that everyone just drops ball and goes to something else. I get what Vakelvion's talking about, and I agree. It did not hit a nerve with me because everyone's running around with their heads chopped off because that's what they want. That's what the system's doing. And then on top of it, we've got the technology on top of it. What resonated with me that she was saying, and where my mind goes to, is finding a way to ground yourself, finding that one thing that you know you can make a change with. And if you're jumping around within that lane of your own, your niche that you carved out, that's fine, as long as you're not jumping from thing to thing to thing. Now, we talked about this the other day as to why you didn't jump into doing certain things, and now you got the bug, and I influenced you. But that was in your own time, though, and you're still holding other things off, and that's just, you don't want to take on too many things that's not you first, and that's not on that you can't have on your plate. And I understood that, because I've gotten to a point where, like, there's just too many things that are me at this point, because that's how I'm changing, how I seek to change the world. But those two things are good for me to juggle, and it makes sense for me. But to take on other things right now, I turn people away for certain things, because I just, it's not, you know what I mean? And I would feel like I'm starting something I can't finish. And that's one thing that I really take to heart, is starting something and keeping at it. Or if I know that I can't commit to it anytime, I'll push it off until I feel like I can.
Right.
So for me,
right.
I don't like, I get what you're saying, but I feel like don't be so hard on yourself because there's so much other stuff going on, and you definitely have found like what it is, like your lane and how you effectively go about seeking it. So as long as, in my opinion, as long as you're jumping around within that.
All right. No, you're messing up too. Lordy Lord, everybody internet messed up today.
Really?
Yeah. No, I can see you now. I'm gonna
Okay.
turn my camera off though. But so before we get out of here, I just want to plug in that on Monday, I have having a conversation about sticking with the whole narcissism, Willie Lynch, projection, deflection, distraction tactics. And I'm having somebody come on who is out of Akron, Ohio. Samantha Weiler will be here Monday, and we're going to discuss narcissism, deflection, distractions. But see, not only with just inside the movement, but I want to take it a step further and take it inside nonprofits, because that is a big part of the movement. And I just want to take an inside peek at how the structure and what do they call it? The archy. She's supposed to finish my sentence here. The
Archaeological?
No, not that. Well, like authority. The
Authoritative?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like this, it goes in an order.
Chronological order?
Yeah, not but
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Was something like like.
Wish I heard that part. I'm so sorry.
Archetype.
Thank you. Gotcha. Archetype. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, just to get into that and just I want to show the similarities between what I feel like is, because the narcissism that we're talking about isn't so much mental health. It has to do more so of control. And that's what I want to get into, because I think people
Yes.
Thank you. See, I want to take this in a whole nother direction, and to show people is like, I'm not pinpointing these things to say that these people are mentally ill. I'm showing that these are mind controlling tactics that they're using and that people are falling for, because if you don't go out and do your own research, you're gonna fall for it. So that's all I wanted to say, man. And I'm gonna, end off on this because I done messed up kind of really the whole episode and in my feelings.
How so?
No, and I don't mean it like that. I wasn't expecting to feel the way that I'm feeling when she was just speaking in general. I took a lot of that to heart, and I think it's because a lot of it I've had parts of legislation. You know what I'm saying? So I do get where she's coming from, and there's not enough.
Let it marinate, brother. Let it marinate.
Oh yeah, I do. I'm always. That's why to me, this was a learning experience. It was growing because it also shows that I have a conscience, that I have a heart, and it just makes me want to go so much harder, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, completely.
So,
all right, y'all. We're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in to Arm Yourself with Knowledge. We had this episode, I'm really thankful for and grateful for Vakelvion blessing us again with her presence and speaking her truth. It's so appreciated, Mama. We really appreciate you and admire you. Thank you for the viewers tuning in. We really appreciate y'all as well. Always, yes, please share this stream and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can also contact us at any of the links and information at the bottom of the screen scrolling. Like, you can email us, call us, text us, whatever. We appreciate y'all. I am on my phone, Chaz, so you're going to have to hit.
I got it. Win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell. Which one is out? I don't know.